Hey, everybody. Welcome back once again to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast, coming to you from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, along with producer Smokey behind the scenes, making it happen. And please help me welcome my co-host. First up, I don't have a cute nickname for him this week. It's just Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, what's up, man?
That's how I like it, Gene. I'm just Josh Briley. Just
Just
a
Josh Briley.
man. Yeah, and possibly with the Texas bunch. I haven't decided yet. But man, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I feel pretty decent this morning. The wedding was over, and I didn't go to the after party that they had at the arena, so I came on back. So I was telling BT earlier, I was home between like 9 and 9:30 or something last night. So one of my better trips to Mississippi. Of course, I had to be up at the crack of dawn and be uh, to Corinth before noon, and so I used the same alarm to get up on Saturday that I use every day of the week for work. So that was a bit of a bummer, but other than that, I'm good, man. I'm fired up. This was a fun episode of USWA wrestling. So before we get into it, we got to welcome our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of STS Pod Club, and he's Jonesboro, Arkansas's current favorite resident. Spoiler alert, it's Brian Tramel. What's up, BT?
Hey man, how's it going, guys? Brother Gene, brother Josh, get buck, y'all. Get buck on a Sunday morning, kayfabe. I mean a Tuesday night, whenever we're supposed to be releasing this. Gene's my best friend, and Josh is my favorite co-host of P3 Radio. And today I'm brought to you by Cash App again, still unemployed. Cash App me at a money sign BTSTS, and I'm fired up and I'm ready to go.
I have never heard a less enthusiastic get buck in my life, Josh.
I'm
What the
sorry.
hell was
Yeah,
that?
I'm not putting it over, and because no one else is putting it over, I think I'm going back to whoop. There it is. So there, I think I'm going
Okay.
back to that. So
All right, it's officially been announced right here. BT is reverting back to whoop. There it is. I don't know that he's going to be able to bring that one back either, but it's worth a shot because
I'm gonna try my
that was
best,
the
man.
saddest, most half-hearted get buck.
Eh,
There,
Get buck.
there's
get buck if
there's
you
somebody
choose
in Memphis right now going like, "No, man, how you do it? You got some."
to.
You kind of got to have the snowman around for it to be effective too. You know what
Well,
I mean? Like once
spoiler
snowman's
alert,
not
but
out there, you can't be as enthusiastic about getting buck, whatever the fuck that means exactly.
I was trying to do I'm gonna do a spoiler here, but I was trying to do the personality of Lawler's doctor. You think I got it? That big personality
Yeah,
get
you're
buck.
pretty close on that, man.
Yeah,
I thought Lawler was dying the way he came into that segment.
I
probably.
did too. I thought, well, we fixing to announce he's dead. That
he's
motherfucker's
got
still alive.
he's gonna mess around and got that neck cancer you get from getting pile driven, like what killed Andy Kaufman, according to Eddie
Yep.
Gilbert and
Holy
Tux
shit.
Newman. They did. They got Tux Newman to come on TV, and Eddie had said it at one point too that y'all killed Andy Kaufman with that pile driver. It gave him cancer. And I was like,
Man,
God damn, that's a stretch. But
Tux Newman was a fucking treat. I absolutely enjoyed that motherfucker.
I liked
dude.
him too. Yeah.
So me and Ray weren't as flattering towards Tux in our reviews of the Memphis '85 show when he was on there, and so Tux's son started emailing us both separately, kind of making his case for Tux. And so I had some conversations with Jeff's son, and I got a copy of Tex Newman's book from him, and he had a
I've
whole
read
chapter in
that. Yep.
there telling about his time in Memphis, and so yeah, I coming straight out of Jimmy Hart right into Tux Newman, you couldn't fill those shoes, so I guess it was unfair. But as I start seeing other managers that came after that, Tux held his own. He to be his first territory that he ever managed in, I think he did well. I mean, really, what do you need besides being the manager of Macho Man Randy Savage in 1985 when he was still, you talk about somebody not being enthusiastic. Like every moment Savage was like in about to murder somebody, it felt like. And speaking of murdering somebody, we're going to have someone threaten murder later on in this show. There's my spoiler, BT. I don't mean to step on your toes
there. You go. Come on. Quit trying to steal my gimmick there.
So, of course, this week we're heading back to April 6th, 1991 for USWA Championship Wrestling. Dave Brown, Michael St. John is still around. Thank goodness. I enjoy Michael St. John. And they give us a little preview of the matches we're going to see. We find out the main event / expiration of time match today is scheduled to be the fabulous one, Steve Kern and Superstar Bill Dundee versus Stunning Steve Austin and El Grande Pistolero. Now, on paper, that sounds really good, but so did Superstar Bill Dundee versus El Grande Pistolero. So I wasn't going to get my hopes up till we see how much time's left when that bell rings on that last match. Because boy, we got shortchanged last week. Something terrible.
I want to note before we get started with what Michael St. John, he had a couple of things he said, but the first thing he said that I wrote down is that we got hot action today. Ooh. Hot action. That sounds like he's putting over the Cinemax or something. We got some hot action going on today.
Oh, it might have been Cinemax in his head.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on any of that watching this back in the day, but each week as he described some of these guys and some of the action, was like, huh, okay.
Hot action today, y'all. Get ready. The listeners that are listening today, there's going to be some hot action on Hot Mics today.
Speaking of, look here. That's how we're going to start out today with old Mr. Hot Stuff himself. And I actually got a couple of clips of this match. We hadn't seen a lot of Eddie in action recently in the studio. So I thought, let's see a few clips of this match as Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert takes on Sergeant O'Reilly here in the first match. And check this out.
O'Reilly's opponent, there he is. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert heads for the ring right now. This, Michael, is somewhat of a rematch. 15-minute time limit match. Michael?
Sergeant O'Reilly right away going right to Eddie Gilbert, takes him into the corner and throws that forearm. Look at this. Eddie Gilbert puts him back in the corner and goes to work on O'Reilly. Eddie Gilbert coming out of there in a hurry right after Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Suplex. O'Reilly putting it on him, but quickly Eddie Gilbert up, clotheslined him down.
O'Reilly was feeling pretty good. All right, there.
O'Reilly sent into the ropes. Body dropping down he goes. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert right on the tail of Paul Neighbor. Coming up a little later on, Dave, by the way, Lawler had an opportunity to talk with his doctor.
Out in the gym some more and get some more experience before he could, well, as I speak, well, okay. Talk about a reversal. O'Reilly had Gilbert into the ropes, but look at this.
Eddie puts him across the top ropes, goes for the cover, knocked the wind out of him and got it. 1, 2, 3. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert victorious.
Experience and ability, and Eddie Gilbert takes the victory, and a good victory it was for Eddie in 2 minutes, 38 seconds, 2:38. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has the victory here over Sergeant O'Reilly. A word from Jerry Lawler and his doctor when we come back.
I had to leave that at the end because it just sounded so funny. A word from Jerry Lawler and his doctor when we come back. Without any context, that sounds really odd. But
I thought you were talking about where Eddie's like, "You all right? You all right?" Bam!
Yeah. And then hit him with the most worked-looking punch you've ever seen in your life.
Michael St. John said this. He had two things: big body drop on the backdrop. It was called a big body drop, and then he said, Eddie Gilbert is as rough and tumble as they come. Rough and tumble as they come.
I've heard a couple announcers use that description, rough
and tumble. That's the first time I've heard that, I think.
Yeah,
pretty hot shot, though, boy.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting how he applied it, because usually, he shoots them off the ropes, but I think something kind of went awry, and so Sarge just took about 3 steps back and charged him, and he hit him with it, but it looked good. They mentioned early on that this was a rematch from a previous bout with disputed interference. It's like, no, they locked up and freaking Embry and Pritchard hit the ring and beat the shit out of it. It wasn't disputed interference. It was pretty clear interference. But, the fans are getting behind, Eddie being aggressive and using heel tactics behind the referee's back, and he's getting to be pretty popular here, it feels like. And short match, but he got the point across, and he's still a babyface. Where are we up to now? Like 4 or 5 weeks? You keep thinking that turn's got to be coming somewhere. Eddie doesn't stay till babyface very long in Memphis, but so far so good. So we'll see how much longer that lasts. So from there, we come back from commercial, as Dave teased. We go to a pre-tape segment showing Jerry the King Lawler meeting with Dr. Lee Sammons, his personal physician. And I've got a little clip of this. It's a clip of Lawler and the doctor, and then a clip of his a little bit of his promo after that. We'll kind of talk about it all at once. I just want everybody to kind of see what Brian already teased, the charisma just dripping off this doctor. I can't believe they didn't do more with him here.
Get Buck.
You're not going to be able to get Buck for a while, Jerry. You got some neck issues.
I'd like to consider my own personal physician, Dr. Lee Sammons. Dr. Sammons, welcome back to the show. I've had you on here before. And before we get into this, I want to give a plug. You've been practicing over in Osceola, Arkansas, but you're now back in the Memphis area, or Memphis, so to speak. You're out at, this is 1335 Germantown Parkway, right?
Parkway in Cordova.
Cordova, yeah. Beautiful offices out here. And believe me, if you need a good doctor, this is the guy to come to see. He has kept me in the ring for years now. Well, I appreciate that fact, and as I told the fans, you told me this over a month ago, and the first thing that happens is these jerks like Eric Embry go around and running around saying, well, the King's retiring, he's hanging it up, and that they put me out of wrestling. I just want them to know, and of course you can assure them that's not the case. I'll be back, right?
You're not going to retire. I'm going to put you back in there better than you were before.
All right. Now, as I said, Dave, the thing that I'm going to miss the most is the fans, but hopefully I'm going to still be around and seeing them and that sort of thing. But, until then, it's like, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
We're not going to be seeing you in the squared circle there for a few weeks.
For a while. But anyway, I know that I talked with Eddie Marlin, and they got some more exciting wrestlers coming into the area. The wrestlers that are here now, some of the top talent anywhere in the world. The matches are exciting, and I'm just looking forward to, still kind of hanging around and watching for a while, just to kind of get to view it like you do. Can I come by and maybe kick Michael out for a day or two or something, and maybe do some...
maybe we'll put a third chair in here.
Okay.
So first of all, this is just a live ad in the beginning.
Sure.
We see what his motivation is for being here. We even get a picture of the office. I thought that was pretty fun. But Dr. Sammons, in all his charismatic ways here, lets us know that Jerry Lawler's neck has suffered wear and tear, his elbow, his knee, and he insists that he take at least 4 to 6 weeks off to heal, or else continued wrestling could cause permanent damage. And Lawler reluctantly agrees. We see him have the promo with Dave, and he comes out, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to take 4 to 6 weeks off. You guys aren't going to be seeing me around here for a while. I'm not retiring, but I'll be back better than before. And so this is one of those, rare promos where they take, enough reality and put it into the kayfabe where it seems kind of, serious at the time. You're like, oh, shit, Lawler's going to have to take time off, or he's going to be a paraplegic or something, and well, just stick around. Let's not spoil it. We'll get there. But yeah, Lawler's very adamant, though, to make sure you understand he's not retiring. He's just...
Do y'all think that he got pissed at Embry for real? It feels like he keeps on saying that Embry said. Like Embry wasn't supposed to say that. He don't, because Jerry never aged. He never want to age. Well, surprisingly, look at the age of his girlfriends. But he never aged, and it's almost like he just keeps saying that over and over, like it pissed him off for shoot.
I don't know, but I think though, like he may keep saying it in the sense that they have to keep coming back to it. And, Embry's going out there saying it, and that may be like the main punchline of the whole thing. But I was kind of disappointed with the doctor's assessment of the X-ray, to be honest with you, because like like you said, it seemed like it was going to be this big thing. Lawler's like near death or near career ending and stuff. And then the doctor's just like, yeah, your bone structure looks great. There's nothing wrong with your vertebrae and shit. And there's like, it's just the muscles around it. You need to take about 4 weeks off for let the muscles heal and stuff. And I'm thinking, this motherfucker could have just got Soma or some shit and like went to the next town or something. You know, it wasn't this big thing like you would think. If he had a herniated disc or something, okay, he needs to take some time off, and that could be, but he was putting it over like, I'm gonna be gone for 4 weeks. I hope y'all don't forget me. I don't know. It just
he put it over. I mean, he's been teasing it every week. But he plays it up more that he's actually going to take time off here. Although it, like you say, it doesn't seem quite as justified based on what the doctor said. But Lawler's still like, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, I'll be gone. And Dave's like, oh man, we're not going to see you for 4 to 6 weeks. Well, that sucks. This is classic Lawler here. I don't think that Embry was saying something he wasn't supposed to say, and I don't think that Lawler was really mad because Lawler's been teasing retiring since the goddamn 80s. I mean, that was a go-to for Lawler for the long. If I don't win the world title this year, I'm going to retire. Well, in 85, you didn't win the world title. Now what? Well, I'm not going to keep going. And he finally wins it 3 years later. So I don't know. I think that that Lawler and Embry are both just good at what they do. I think there is probably some underlying tension between Lawler and Embry. I don't think Lawler was happy to have Embry here. He wasn't happy to have him as the booker because, story goes, listening to shoot interviews and reading things, Jerry Jarrett came to Lawler and go, hey, we got a chance to go buy the Texas territory. And Lawler's like, fuck that. I'm not driving to damn Dallas every week. Let's not do that. And so Jerry goes on down there without him.
Yep.
It ends up buying into the territory and making Embry the booker, and then decides, well, he's doing a good job in Texas. Let's bring him up to Memphis. And so I'm sure Lawler was not enthused about, Embry being here. Of course, first thing he does when he shows up, he tries to fire Bruno. He runs Eddie Gilbert out for a little bit. Then Eddie comes back as a babyface because he don't want anybody to outshine him as the heel. And so I'm sure there is some real heat to these promos, as you're mentioning, Brian. I just don't think he wasn't supposed to say
maybe, but Lawler's kind of, I don't want to say the word weird, but he's different backstage than he is in front of the camera, and he's real particular about things that are said, and especially when it comes to age and stuff. He's just really, yeah.
He's going to retire because he aged out. He's saying he's going to retire because Embry broke his neck.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I just saw something there that and he does you're going to show some of that promo he did. I thought that was really good.
We're going to show all of that promo. As a matter of fact.
That was an excellent.
We're actually fixing to watch this whole tag team match as well. In fact, let's just go on into that. We're about to see the Texas Bunch, Eric Embry and Dr. Tom Pritchard with Tojo Yamamoto taking on Ben Jordan, which I think this is Ben's first appearance here so far this year on USWA, and he's going to be tagging with Todd Johnson. Now, something that got said in that initial setup that I didn't mention intentionally, out of the blue, Dave Brown says, Todd Johnson is debuting full-time for USWA here this morning, and you think, why are we supposed to care that a jobber is going full-time? Well, you're about to see why that was a thing. So let's check out the Texas Bunch and tag team action here.
And it comes to being getting inside a cage.
First, let's hear Roddy Pritchard.
All I got to tell you is this. I never asked a referee to start the match for blood. You might as well ring the bell, because Eric Embry doesn't need anybody.
Meanwhile, Embry's already starting the match while Tom's over here pipering up.
Dave doesn't know how to act with these guys being at the desk, and they're supposed to be in the ring. They're doing promos, especially when we do the ones with Embry.
If you look at Dave's face, Dave wants to literally say, get the fuck in the ring. I want to hold this microphone for 2 minutes.
By the way, Ben Jordan is legit tough, so he could have probably
nice guy.
Yeah, he is a nice guy, but he could have probably just took Embry down. and said,
Oh,
"Okay,
yeah.
get up when you want to get up."
I got to meet Ben and hang out with him for a while last year at the Hall of Fame thing in Jackson. Just a super, super great guy who's been going through some stuff the last couple of years. Cancer battle that he seems to be coming out on the good end of, thank goodness. So here he is. Here comes the newest full-time employee of USWA Wrestling right here, Todd Johnson. Oh, no.
So there is going to be a rematch. It is going to be in a cage.
Y'all hear my drink? I'm doing my drink.
Unless one of the wrestlers says, I quit. We'll tell you.
Paul Neighbors is in full effect here. We can say that because we can't see Brian right now. You can, but nobody can see you.
Okay, shit.
We have a request from the network that you have it back on by the time you're on camera, though.
It's like when I'm running around in the forest buck naked. Nobody sees me. Damn, it don't count.
Now that's truly getting booked.
Yeah. If you shout that a little more enthusiastically. Where are you going, BT? I'm going to get booked. Naked.
He is not even
implying
that he's retiring. He is just taking some time off.
Here we
Here
go.
it is.
Well, as one man takes some time off in Jerry Lawler, this is
Look at that perfect form. That's why
Beautiful.
Todd Johnson got that full-time job right
That's
there.
right.
son.
Beautiful.
Took the shit out of that
What?
slingshot.
ripping his head up off
Uh-oh.
the canvas. Makes
What
the
could this
tag
be?
to Eric Embry to dish out some more punishment. It's
Oh, what
amazing
can
how the
this
Texas
be?
bunch, when they see a victim, someone that is not as
Embry don't have the
that.
pink, no pink boots for Embry. That I don't know. I kind of like the pink boots with it because it's still kind of flamboyant, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not very flamboyant this week. He means business. Uh-oh. We're going to use a chain on Todd Johnson.
See, man, this is. Oh, I'm gonna shut up.
I've said before that really upsets me to see a veteran team like
Such good shit.
It is. I mean, he's
That's
such a great
his-
heel. He's such a great heel, y'all. You just hate him. You absolutely hate him.
I mean, he's dominated the guy, but then he uses the chain to knock
Yes.
him out. That's
Yeah,
just being
yeah.
a shit heel to be a shit heel, which
That
is perfect.
is psychology. That is good shit.
Now, get ready. It's becoming their signature here. There goes Paul
Get
Neighbors,
out of
grabs by the
this
ponytail.
There goes the referee. There's a fine for Eric Embry, but the referee has been thrown out of the ring onto the floor. And now
I love how Embry will threaten later to use this in the cage, but if Pritchard's not there to hold him up by his butt cheeks, how's he going to do? Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
That looked great.
By the way, I told Gene this. I did talk to Bill Rush, and apparently we're going to talk to Bill Rush. We'll talk about that pile driver and everything, hopefully, within a week or so. So I'm excited. I'm going to keep my mouth shut until then about that. I'm not going to spoil it. But, yeah, that looked nasty, didn't it? Oh.
A little concerned about what's happening in the ring.
They all look, Eddie, Lawler, they all just look disgusted. Like,
Even the fans, get out of here, pointing and showing. They're into it.
They killed him. See you later, Todd.
By climbing the ropes. And then that pile driver, he sprung a quarter of the way out from the corner.
Yeah, I don't know if it caught on audio or not, but Embry was shouting at the desk, he wants to be a full-time wrestler.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, be careful.
well, he's a full-time paraplegic now. That's the part. My goodness. Yeah, man, he's getting good at that second. I mean, the one last week looked pretty good, but man, as I don't remember if it was Dave or Michael St. John just pointed out, he kind of like fired himself halfway across the ring before they landed. Like he jumped off that second rope backwards, and damn, that one looked even better than the first one.
yeah, they must have got Todd in there because they knew that he would take it like a fucking champ, you know, because that looked great. And he's a smaller guy like Bill Rush too. I'm obviously that's the reason they're picking. This
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, you're not going to be giving Freezer Thompson the old second rope pile driver anytime soon.
Oh, man, I was going to spoil it. Next week, I read in the Observer, it is Fraser Thompson. Ah!
Can't wait to see that. That's going to look tremendous, I'm sure. But man, like he's pointing out, Josh, you know, the little things that Embry does to add the heat that the average person just looking at it's not really going to think about, but the average fan is going to get mad at is like they've dominated these guys, but he pulls out a fucking chain and knocks him out behind the referee's back. and pins him, and then proceeds to give him the old pile driver off the second rope.
Dude, I remember being 8 years old and just that sorry motherfucker. I was so pissed, dude. And it works. And it's so simple, like you said. It's great.
He's been that booker for details. We talked about when we did the other season. We didn't have any idea why is this guy doing this? Why is this guy? Embry's came in and started booking, and it's almost like he's putting the dotting the I's and crossing the T's kind of thing on every angle that he does, and I absolutely love it. So,
and there's quite a few people that complain about Embry from the inside of the business that say they don't like his booking and everything, but I have to feel like it's almost kind of just personal feelings bleeding in, that if you're being honest, you don't have to like Embry, but you really can't pick apart his booking compared to some of the other bookings you see, just because of what Brian just said, just that attention to detail that adds so much. Because if you're not left sitting there going, well, what was that about? Well, why did they do that? That don't make any sense. You know exactly what these guys, it makes sense. They're from Texas and they want to show that Texas is better than Tennessee and that they're going to come in and do whatever the hell they want. Now, some people can say, oh, well, some of it's kind of hot shotting, but god dang, Memphis was built on that. I mean, you name any successful Memphis promoter that wasn't, their booking wouldn't have been called hot shotting outside of the Memphis territory. But like, I know Randy Hales, every time Embry's mentioned or this angle's mentioned, he gets all bent out of shape, and and I know Doug doesn't like him personally, but I figure he also doesn't like him because Eddie was a booker, and if they'd have had their way, I'm sure they'd rather Eddie been booking right now instead of Embry. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to us continuing down this path and seeing where all this stuff goes. But let me tell you, we're going to see a promo from Embry here in a little bit, and you talking about heated, and we said Brian didn't bring the enthusiasm on the get buck. Well, Eric brings more than that. I mean, you would think he's really ready to literally kill Jerry Lawler. So once again, last week, we saw him do that pile driver off the second rope to Bill Rush, and boy, it really seemed to get Jerry Lawler's panties in a twist. Well, it did it again. Lawler comes back out here after he's out here earlier, and he's already said, you're not going to see me for 4 to 6 weeks. They're going to be bringing some, and it even says they're going to be bringing in some really good wrestlers in here. So like, don't turn, as if people are right to just shut the TV off and say, well, Lawler's been gone 4 to 6 weeks. Well, screw this. And he's like, they're going to be bringing some good wrestlers in here. Going to be a lot of good matches and all this. And as soon as this happens with Embry doing this to Todd Johnson, Lawler comes back to the desk. And it's kind of funny to me, like it reminded me of that Rick James clip off the Chappelle show when he's like, they mentioned him grinding his feet on Eddie Murphy's couch. And he's like, I ain't never grind my feet on Eddie Murphy's couch. I didn't just do stuff to do it. And they jump forward a few seconds like, yeah, I grind my boots on Eddie Murphy's couch. Well, let's take a look at this little clip right here of we'll see a moment from Jerry Lawler's previous promo, and then we'll see the promo from 5 minutes later.
Hopefully I'm going to still be around and seeing him and that sort of thing. But, until then, it's like, I guess, 4 5 weeks, something like that.
We're not going to be seeing you in the squared circle there for a few weeks.
For a while. But, well, when now all the rest of the matches are over, Eddie, let me just show up and let me just get in that ring with the cage already up. And Eric Embry, if you got a gut in your body, then you'll come out there and you'll get in that cage and we'll see if you really are a man. Because I want to do to you, Eric Embry, what you're trying to do to all these young kids around here.
Now, if we isolate that clip.
Because I want to do to you, Eric Embry, what you're trying to do to all these young kids around here.
Anyway, so to me, this shows that Eric Embry's not just booking this to get himself over, because he's making Jerry Lawler out to be a hero here, because we just spent all this time establishing whether the doctor was enthusiastic enough. But we established that Jerry Lawler is putting himself at great personal risk if he continues to wrestle without taking these 4 to 6 weeks off. and he's finally agreed to do it. But now, God damn it, he's so mad that Eric Embry's out here trying to hurt these young guys. He's going to put aside his own health to not only wrestle, but get inside a steel cage with Eric Embry to try to put this, quote, low-life piece of trash, gutless coward with a yellow streak a mile long, I think he said at one point in all this, to come out and face him like a man and have a cage match. And this time, we had the unified title. We pointed out last week he didn't have the unified belt out there. We didn't mention it. You wouldn't even know he was a unified champion. He's got the unified title. He wants to put it up against the Texas title because he wants to take that Texas title and go throw it off in the Mississippi River.
He swears to God.
Promo. What do you guys think of this?
Yeah. I was just saying, he swears to God, by the way, he's going to do that if he beats Eric Embry. And I thought that was pretty good because you really don't see the King do that very much. And I think it, like you said, it does build Lawler up too, because it shows this level of desperation. It's like, I could just walk away and be on vacation for 4 to 6 weeks, but I can't let Eric Embry stay here and do this shit to everybody else. He is the hero in this situation. And, I love that Lawler is like, he's almost like you say, BT, it's almost like he's for real mad at Embry because it feels different. I keep saying that with this Tennessee and Texas feud, but Lawler's level of I have to do this, it feels different in this situation.
You think maybe part of that is that you got to, I don't know, but you got a guy like Embry who's been in the business, he's booking, and Lawler wants to, quote unquote, show that he's good at what he does and that he can follow the rules when you want to. Right. I love that you showed both versions, a little bit of that promo earlier than this promo. That promo earlier, the whole thing where he talks about, this is what he's been doing his whole life and everything. I mean, I've heard that promo backstage one time in Tuckerman. It was Dundee and him and Brandon Baxter. And Lawler actually said, what would I be doing if I wasn't wrestling on a Saturday night? I mean, he didn't know what to do with his life after, he left from the WWE and everything. He just did all these spot shows all over the place in the local area because that's what he knew. That's how he knew to make a living. And that's pretty much the only thing he knew. Very similar to what Bobby Eaton had said before too. Bobby, you still wrestling. What am I supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying? These guys never, and Dundee said the same thing, And Brandon was sitting right there in the middle and was talking about, how he keeps coming back. Like, it's like the mafia wrestling is. You can't get away from it. You really can't.
Yeah, and even to this day, even though Lawler's health won't allow him to still wrestle, but he's out doing, autograph signings and appearances just about every weekend. I mean, he's still out there, and he doesn't need to. He doesn't have to. The man's got more money than Kevin will ever spend, but but he's still out there doing it because he I don't know if it's just that he enjoys it that much or like BT says, it's just what
Kevin has that job. Kevin works for Jerry, so what he's doing is he's just waiting around till Jerry dies. But that's his job right there.
Yeah,
that's what
so
Jerry said.
He doesn't have to pimp his cash app out weekly. So
yeah,
kudos to him for that. But yeah, this is classic Lawler, man. Nobody in wrestling to me has ever been better than Lawler at coming out and establishing a real, situation where he gets the somber tone and he kind of, ties it into his life and everything. And this is deathly serious. And he has you, like, God dang, man, I hope he takes his time off. Don't want to see him be permanently injured. And then come back out 2 segments later, fired up, and you really believe that he's so mad at Eric Embry that he's willing to throw all that away just to get his hands on him. And that's the kind of shit that sells tickets,
And then he comes out later on and puts over that they're going to be at the barbecue place down there signing autographs. So, yeah, he always was able to do all those 3 things on one show.
Yeah.
And
you didn't question it. Nobody rolled their eyes, but like, this mug was out here talking, fighting Embry. Now he's pimping barbecue. But,
we do now. We roll our eyes now, but we didn't back
now,
then. We didn't even
30
notice
years.
it. We just went with the flow,
Yeah, 30, 40 years later, sure we do. But, but there was probably people sitting at home. I made that joke about he acted like people were going to shut the TV off. But there probably were some people sitting at home going, yeah, we ain't got to go this Monday night if Lawler ain't going to be there.
Right.
And then by the time they pile drive this kid and Lawler talks shit and then Embry talks shit, they're like, all right, I guess we got to go Monday night because this is going to be crazy. We can't miss it, And speaking of that, that's the next thing we see here is a clip where they talk to the fans at the Pipkin building. And I thought this was interesting, the array of fans that they picked out. So I know we're a little clip heavy this week, but I don't know. I just felt like this is worth watching and then commenting on. So check out what the fans think of the new Pipkin building for the USWA on Monday nights.
The best wrestling fans in the whole world are right here in Memphis, Tennessee. And now every Monday night, the fans are closer to the action than ever.
The location's a lot better. I think it's going to be a lot nicer here. More convenient, the seating.
Oh, it's a nice building. If you got a close up to sit around, much better. And I enjoy this.
It makes you a little more intimate with the wrestlers. You can see them. They're easier to talk to and get autographs, and I like that a lot.
And their favorite wrestlers?
Dundee.
Jerry Lawler.
Who is your?
Dundee.
Favorite around is Jeff Jett and Jerry Lawler.
It's hard to say, but, well, Jeff Jarrett's always been a favorite in our house.
Plus, the fans meet, talk, and get autographs. Plus, give their best wishes to all their favorite USWA stars. The USWA fans get into the action.
I'm gonna climb the pole. I'm gonna get the glove, and I'm gonna whoop them.
It's the good old wrestling atmosphere up close and personal. And free parking, too. Exciting USWA action. Monday nights in Memphis at the Pipkin building.
Do you think that's how like a first time stripper's interview goes? She just goes in there and says, "I want to climb the pole.
I want to climb the pole. I'm gonna whoop them." Yeah, that was fun. And somebody should have told that lady there's a difference between calling a venue an intimate setting and saying it makes it easier for you to get intimate with the wrestlers, which is probably more accurate.
I thought she said enema with the wrestlers. I was like, whoa, now what the hell? We got something going on here.
Whatever they're into, I suppose. But the guy who was going to climb the pole was fun.
I'm sorry. Did y'all think while y'all were listening to this that those folks really, really sounded Southern? And then you listen to yourself and you go, "Oh shit, that's me sitting over there."
I was thinking, I didn't know Winona Judd went to the fucking Pipkin building. That one would look just like her.
Yeah, I was just thinking, watching it the first time, like I would like to see the ones that didn't make it. Like, what are the ones they shot that they're like, nah, we can't use that. These are the ones that were the best of the bunch.
But it was a good infomercial, though. I keep using that term as well.
Oh, yeah, very much.
That's literally what it feels like. And it does kind of put the stamp on what we felt out of the footage from the Pipkin building. It was a lot closer. We used the term a more intimate setting.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that they literally had an infomercial the very next week that we were talking about, or 2 weeks ago, maybe. I can't remember, but yeah.
I thought like watching that, I was like, this is everything we said. Like, people are going to think that we watched ahead and just repeated the things, but we did.
I saw this as a child, but that I wasn't actively thinking about that while we were talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't give a shit about stuff like that when you was a kid, even for any of that to really register.
Right.
But speaking of the Pipkin building, they then go back and show us highlights of Jerry Lawler versus Eric Embry from last week. I'm just going to show a short little clip here But am I crazy? But is David Webb calling him Eric Embry without the B in his name? Listen to this clip. I'm pretty damn sure. And when you watch the whole thing, when it was several minutes of the match, and he says it 100,000 times, he's saying Eric Embry. Check this out.
Weight champion pulls him around the ring by the hair. Couple of left jabs in by the king. A bloodied Embry. Lawler catches him with a right, puts him down. The king follows him outside the ring, picks him up. Embry flares Lawler's head into the table. Lawler outside. Look out! Lawler goes fire out of nowhere.
Good Lord, that was a hell of a fireball, dude.
That's what I wrote. I was like, damn.
A whole roll of flash paper.
Having that camera positioned where it was over Lawler's shoulder, that was fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they figured that out years ago. They got that great shot of him burning Savage that they put in all those different highlight videos over the years, and that angle's just the perfect one. They got him burning Kamala like that in the studio one time as well. That freaking, as they show Embry teasing the briefcase, that thing has been beat to death. It looks like it's made out of like aluminum foil at this point. It doesn't even look threatening anymore.
Yeah, it looks like old tornado battered fucking trailer or something. They need a new one. I mean, they're obviously making a little money now.
We need to go on and suck it up and replace the old briefcase there. Poor Tojo's probably embarrassed toting that around. But next up, I would say we're going to see the Texas Hangman in action, but we're really not. Last week, I mentioned that I assumed it was just for time that we had Embry cut a promo during the Texas Hangman's match. But this week, we see the Texas Hangman come through the curtain. They're wearing the USWA tag titles. They held on to them. They step up onto the ring apron, and then the camera pans over to Eric Embry. And we get a hell of a promo from Eric Embry, which you're fixing to see in its entirety. And once Embry gets through talking, the camera pans back to the ring just in time to see them do the whippoorwill or whatever the fuck they call that.
The whippoorwill.
Lame ass finisher there.
Whirlwind.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And I like the Texas Hangman. I'm not knocking them, but god dang, that's of all their finish moves, that is the least impressive. And that name doesn't even sound threatening. If you come to me like, I'm gonna whoop your ass with the whirlwind, I'm like, okay. Well, what are you gonna blow on me?
You better bring two of them, boy.
Exactly. Then you hear him in the ring as Embry's talking here. And you hear the bumps on the mat. But then you turn around and literally he's put him in the backbreaker position. The other one's getting on the second rope. He spins his arm around because that's what makes it so effective. He winds it up and then hits him with lays his forearm across the guy's chest, and they get the win. So I don't know. Are we like, does somebody not like Texas Hangman matches and they're trying to find ways not to show them? I don't know. It feels weird. But holy shit. If you think Lawler seemed mad in his promo, if you think he was fired up and he's really, really into this match, check out Eric Embry.
Just fine. Shut up, man. You said it. Lawler's got the fire in his eyes. You can hear it in his voice. But Lawler, it's real simple, man. It's real simple. You come out here and you say, your doctors say take time off. Your doctors this. You got nagging injuries. Well, dang it, Lawler. There ain't a wrestler in professional wrestling that's been in it for 2 or 3 years that ain't got nagging injuries, man. You say, if I got enough guts to sign a contract, you tell Eddie Marlin that I got an open contract, he can make me do it. Man, you don't have to make me do nothing, Jerry Lawler, because I can't wait. I can't wait to get you in that cage. World title against the United States of Texas title, Lawler, because it's real simple, Lawler. You say one more time. Well, Lawler, you could have 1,000 times and you still couldn't beat me, man. Right? You hit me with your best shot, man. You hit me with your fire, and I got up and I fought you, and I beat your brains out. What, Jerry Lawler? Take a good look, man, because I hate everything you, Tennessee, and the Mid-South stand for. Jerry Lawler, your mama's an egg-sucking dog. Your old man's an egg-sucking dog. Your aunts, your uncles, they all crawl out from under rocks, Lawler. So when you meet me in that cage, Lawler, just like you said, don't come to wrestle, because you're going to have to fight, and you're going to have to fight the biggest, baddest that's ever stepped in the ring against you. You're the king. Yeah, but you're the king of the cesspool of the world, Lawler. And I swear, Dave Brown, just as sure as I'm standing here, Lawler, when I get you in that cage, I'm going to beat your brains out. I ain't going to pile drive you from the second rope. I'm going to climb up to the top of the cage, and I'm going to pile drive you off there, and I'm going to try my best, Lawler, to kill you, man. I'm going to try to kill you, Lawler. So anybody, don't just bring a stretcher for Lawler. You have the morticians, not an ambulance. You have the meat wagon waiting, because, Lawler, I'm going to kill you, man. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him, man.
Did you see Dave Brown's face the first time he said, "I'm going to kill you, Lawler"? Dave Brown's like, what the fuck? Man, okay, so first of all, Eric Embry basically calls Lawler a pussy because he says every wrestler that's been in the business for 2 years has got nagging injuries. So quit trying to go home, sissy. Lawler comes from a whole family of egg-sucking dogs, apparently. His mama, his daddy, his aunts, his uncles.
Yeah, he had to say something about his aunt and uncle now. And mom and daddy, but don't be talking about my aunt and uncle now. Don't throw them in.
To me, that's always been the weirdest insult that you only hear on wrestling. Apparently, they used to say it everywhere. An egg-sucking dog, to me.
Yep.
Terry Funk was a big fan of the old egg-sucking dog line. That's just always been a very strange line to me. And then he goes just full-on Carl Childers from Sling Blade when he's like, don't bring an ambulance, just bring a hearse, because he's going to kill him down there Monday night. He's going to pile drive him off the top of the cage, guys. Holy shit. I don't know. Tom Pritchard's not even going to be able to reach his ass cheeks to hold him up from the top rope if he gets to the top of the cage. I don't know how that's going to happen, but he seemed like he meant it. I don't know about y'all, but he seemed pretty damn serious about all this.
Well, yeah, and you've had 2 weeks of doing the unthinkable. Now, granted, it did not seem as intense this week as it did last week, I guess because of shock value. But either way, it's still pretty fucking awful this week. And it's like, oh my God, because every major star from the locker room came into the ring. Whenever you see that, it's not just like Night Train and the others in there. It's like Eddie Gilbert, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler. They're all there. And Lawler was so pissed he's putting his fucking vacation off for his healing to try to be the hero. Like, yeah, this is very serious times.
Love the promo. I like the way they go to, like I said, Dave Brown don't know how to act with it, but I love the way they're not even showing the match, just the finish. And the way it looks is they're showing the match, and Embry's not supposed to be doing that. That's what I like the most about it, is that you can see the look on Dave's face, and Embry is putting himself over. He's come up with a place to do a promo when they don't have time for a promo, and they still need to get the action in. But this was tremendous. God, you want to see Lawler just beat the fuck out of this guy. So you really do.
The only thing I forgot to say that kind of like bummed me out about it would be, I forget who said it, but it's like a golden rule. It's usually in a promo, you're not supposed to say things that are like impossible, and you're not supposed to say things that would be illogical to do to that person or unbelievable, and that you can't do it. And I kind of got that feeling while he's saying it, but as a child, I did think that it was very, very possible just because of the actions from before.
Yeah, I had that in my notes here, like the age-old, thing in wrestling. And I remember being told this when we were, being trained and learning about promos. Is like, don't ever promise anything that people know you can't deliver, because why are they going to come out to see that? But if it's the heel, and in this situation, they're trying to make this seem so over the top, personal, and everything. I think here it's forgivable. I mean, it still seemed a bit much. He just kept saying it over and over, but. I think having done the things they've done, you at least know as a fan, well, he ain't above trying to kill this dude. I mean, he's halfway trying to kill these poor jobbers. He's pile driving off the second turnbuckle. But yeah, I had that same note here, Josh. Is like, yeah, that was kind of like, that's like a, unspoken rule in wrestling. You don't say stuff in promos that there's no chance you can deliver on. But then again, there's guys who say they're going to win matches. There's no chance in hell they were ever going to win. So, I guess where do you draw the line? But the only thing that seemed weird to me, like, it's not unheard of in wrestling, in Memphis wrestling at least, for guys to come out and cut promos during the match. But usually they focused on the match and then they would cut away to the guy talking and then cut back to the match. We never saw one solitary second of this match once Embry took the mic until it was over and then the match was over. It was Mickey J and Night Train Jackson. I can only assume, since Night Train's been challenging for the light heavyweight title, this is one of those deals where Mickey J just got his ass beat for the entirety of this promo and then got pinned. I doubt we really were missing anything. I'm sure it was the same spots we've seen him do for 2 or 3 weeks, but it did just feel weird that we completely ignored the match in favor of this Eric Embry promo. But I think it's like what BT pointed out. It was supposed to be that they've already had their segment, and Embry wasn't going to get another chance to come out here and talk all this shit to Lawler. So the only time he could do it was during his boys, the Texas Hangman's match. So I think that just adds another layer to everything as well. So I don't know. This is probably one of the top heel promos we've seen so far in 91. I mean, we're just in April, but it's definitely the most heated. And I don't know, man. Fans saying he's going to pile drive Lawler off the top of the cage. I think that might be enough to get me down there. We'll talk about that some more when it comes time. But that was a hell of a line. Just to say I'm gonna go to the top of the cage and pile drive. I was like, holy shit.
And you can believe it too, because he's been doing it to these other people. So you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, Lawler's got a bad neck, and he's gonna kill him. He really is gonna kill him." But yeah, that would. As you said, we'll talk about it later, but that is a good selling point. Of Embry's killing Lawler. Get down there and see it. So there you go.
Yeah. And if you were a kid like me that overthought everything, you're thinking, I just want to see what the mechanics of that would even be. Of how would you get Lawler to the top of the cage? And then, like, I don't know how you'd pull this off, but I certainly believe you would damn sure try. And you'd probably land on the turnbuckle, so it might kill him and paralyze you too.
Man, you was a fun kid, wasn't you there, Gene?
Oh, I've always been that way. That's why I didn't like I wasn't like a horror movie fan, because I picked them apart. But all right, so next up we get an interview with the new Fabulous Ones unofficially. Steve Keirn and Eddie Gilbert are together. They're on the same side of things now for the first time. And they cut a pretty fiery promo here after what we just heard, the threats from Eric Embry threatened to kill Jerry Lawler. Keirn says that they're going to kick some butts down there Monday night.
And he said, are we going to watch any of it?
Nah, I had so many clips already. I didn't clip this one.
Well, I think you need to paint the picture, Gene. Like, Steve Keirn is not just out there looking all regular. He is out there, and this is 1991. He is out there in a fucking Tiffany, the singer back in the 80s, Tiffany shirt on. It's not just like
screenshot. Damn it.
It's not subtle. It is a big fucking picture of her face and huge lettering, Tiffany. And then he's out there trying to look tough and stuff. And he's got the Tiffany shirt on.
I thought it was a strip club at first. When I saw the Tiffany, I figured it was a strip club in Florida, and it was Tiffany's. And then after you start looking at it, you go, well, wait, that's a concert shirt. So, yeah.
So,
but either way,
at some point, Steve Keirn out in the crowd listening to I Think We're Alone Now. He was so moved by it, he bought a T-shirt on the way out.
Yeah, and you said you're a fan of the schematics of things and stuff. Well, I thought it was cool that Steve Kearns said, Eric Embry, you're out here trying to do this to young kids. How about you do it to somebody like me with a 19-inch neck? I thought it was cool he threw that out. So that's a possibility.
10-inch cock. Well, that's not relevant, Steve. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last week in them jeans, didn't we?
Sorry, Dave.
I love this. I marked out big time. I typed the Fabs because it's the first. We got Eddie Gilbert and Steve Kearns on the screen at the same time. Eddie was hilarious here talking about some kid came up to him and asked him why he turned good. Mm-hmm. Now that's what they, are you bad guy or you good guy kind of thing. And then Eddie said, in the name of Jackie Fargo. I think that's the T-shirt, y'all. In the name of Jackie Fargo. Also, Gators, Steve Kearns. When did we start that? Is this the first week that we did that?
No, Dave Brown has been throwing that out there.
Oh, okay. That's the first time I noticed that. Yeah, Gators.
Because, Gene, did he not have that gimmick in not like 1990 or some shit? Yeah. Here briefly or something?
Yeah, before Stan and Cornette quit WCW, he was already going by Steve Gator Kearns down in Florida. Because in his real life, he had become a freaking gator hunting. Like he would take people on gator hunts down there in his spare time.
Shit. You get shoot that son of a bitch in the head! Can you imagine?
They would. It's just like the freaking that TV show that everybody was into a few years ago with the Cajuns, where different people would be allowed so many of these tags per year, and you could kill that many gators because they needed to clear them out. And so Steve became one of those guys, and he would take people on gator hunts.
Oh, wow.
And if they were scared, he would catch them and kill them, and then they could take them, and do whatever they do with them. Well, I don't know what you do with them. Make boots, I guess. I don't know. But, so I guess they were wanting to bleed that into his wrestling.
I wondered about that. This
promo. He had the tooth on his earring there.
Yeah.
So
this promo and the match later, it just dawned on me that, and I guess because I was a Fabs and we called them the other F word when we were growing up, and then we finally become Fabs fans when they was with the Moondogs because they look tough. But Steve Kearns is a tough motherfucker. I mean, he's somebody I would not. That match, watch that match. He is all over Gypsy Joe, and man, he is just in that interview. He just felt like he could beat anyone's ass there after that. So, and then fighting fucking gators, yeah, Steve Kearns is a legit tough guy. So,
yeah, and then of course, the old classic thing. Different times people have sat in Vince McMahon's office like, well, what do you do in real life, pal? Well, I was a mortician. And he made Paul Bearer.
Right.
And then, that's happened countless times. Well, Steve Kearns mentioned when he went for his interview that, well, I catch gators down in Florida. Oh, and then Skinner was born.
Right.
And I don't know. I wish maybe he hadn't mentioned that in the interview because I was never a fan of Skinner. I mean, it was a character. It suited the times of WWF, but I don't know. I just felt weird about the former Fabulous One now having tobacco running down his mouth.
I hated it too, but
and the stupid music, you hear crickets and shit on there, which, how appropriate, crickets chirping when Skinner comes out. But, we've made fun of a lot of times these guys out here in these promos, and Steve Kearns that we're talking about is a perfect example of making up bullshit reasons, like when kids have come up and asked them things. But using the term turn good, I can almost guarantee you some kid came up to Eddie Gilbert and asked him at a show, why did you turn good? And this was Eddie's response, I'm sure. He didn't turn good. He's just people changed. And
in the name of Jackie Fargo.
I love that. Yeah, in the name of Jackie Fargo. There we go. Well, I'll start doing that every time we mention Fargo on here.
No, it's not the sign of the cross. It's the sign of the strut. You got to do
that's a good one, Josh. That's a good one.
That's how you get saved by Jackie Fargo. You've got to strut.
You want to go and strut beside Jackie Fargo?
and then they got to split your head open and you got to bleed.
In the name of Jackie Fargo.
So they have vowed to win the World Tag Team titles Monday night from the Texas Hangman. And next, like I said, we've been clip heavy, so I didn't clip any of this. We get a promo from Jeff Jarrett, and he's got his upcoming Southern title match in the cage with Dr. Tom Pritchard. And I think, again, another solid promo from Jeff. It's not like one we had to show, but
that hair, Jesus. Man.
Look like Terry Garvin did that for him, probably.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
You need a couple more curlers in the back, Jeff. Man, I miss his promos. He was good stuff.
Yeah, I wish he'd have been around a little longer in 91. That was fun, especially him and Uptown Bruno together. Speaking of Uptown Bruno, we get a little recap of his karate glove boxing match last week with Downtown Bruno, where Steve Austin interfered and attacked Bruno. Dundee rushed in to make the save. So, of course, anybody with half a brain knows what we're setting up here. We got a tag team match coming up Monday night. But before that, we've got today's expiration of time main event, which means there could possibly be more than one fall. Most of the matches we've seen lately, there hadn't even been that. But here, the first fall, we get to see some wrestling here, and then things turn chaotic, and we get JC Ice gets involved, and Bruno and the Hangman, and it gets completely wild. We get a promo from Bruno. You're still my boy, but I'm going to spank you like I should have done years ago. Thought you already did that, but we're going to do it again, apparently. We get a second fall. JC Ice is absent, so Steve Kern ends up pinning Pistolero, and we actually get a clean pinfall on somebody in a USWA TV match, which felt jarring. It was so long since we've seen that in a match where it was, stars against stars. It was kind of pleasant. So, to kind of recap things, Dundee and Kern, they get the win. We've now made it official. We started the show out with Jerry Lawler taking 4 to 6 weeks off. We end it with a steel cage unified title versus Texas title match signed for Monday night. We got Jeff Jarrett putting Tom Pritchard putting the Southern heavyweight title against Jeff Jarrett in a steel cage. We got the Hangman defending against Steve Kern and Eddie Gilbert. So, should be an interesting show come Monday night. So you know how this works. We got to take our commercial break. We'll let them give us the whole card, and then we'll see how you guys felt about all of it.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's stspod.club, and we got it all covered. We've got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern Fried Brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
All right, let's let Dave and Michael St. John quickly run down the card for Monday night before we discuss what we think about it.
Of course, don't forget about that at the Pipkin Building, Monday night at 7:30. Parade of Champions coming up. Opening match of the night, the new kid, Brian Christopher, is going to be going against Sergeant O'Reilly. O'Reilly here today thinking he could take the measure of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He couldn't do it. Well, we'll see how he does against new kid Brian Christopher Monday night in the opening match. Then a World Light Heavyweight title match. Nightmare Danny Davis will be in there going against El Grande Pistoleros. Then, coming up, Superstar Bill Dundee. How about this? Going to have Uptown Bruno in the ring with him. They're in tag team action this time against Steve Austin and J.C. Ice. Then the World Tag Team Champions will be in. The Texas Hangman. They'll be defending against Steve Kern and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, a worthy team to challenge for those belts. And then the first main event of the night, and this one they're going to put up the 12-foot cage. The Southern Heavyweight title will be on the line. Jeff Jarrett going against Dr. Tom Pritchard. Then the second main event of the night, this added main event that added just moments ago, as Lawler says the cage is already going to be up, so this one is also going to be a cage match. It'll be unified world title against Texas title, as the King, Jerry Lawler, will be back in the ring one more time against the flamboyant Eric Embry.
All right. Well, there you see the card for the Parade of Champions for Monday night. So, guess that just begs the question, what was your least favorite part of today's episode?
Well, I'd have to say, again, I'm beating the dead horse on this, but this was a good show, top to bottom. They did handle time better than they did last week. And I think that's because of the Embry shoehorned interview there in the Texas Hangman match. But I guess if I had to pick it apart, then that would be my least favorite moment, was just that we had to completely ignore the Texas Hangman and, focus on an awesome Eric Embry promo, but it's shoehorned. It's, the Hangman showed up to TV, but to be fair, you got to see the entrance, you got to see the outfits, they're wearing the belts, looking great, very menacing out there on TV. So, I mean, you got the entrance, you got the finish. So, it's not like they weren't on TV, but yeah. I just thought, maybe we could have done something. Take that second fall of the main event off and then throw the Embry promo on there or something, or at least the time frame. But yeah, it's a small gripe.
I agree with that. Would be the only thing. Like you said, we got a good Embry promo out of it, but I'm being real picky. This was a solid show. So
yeah, I guess I didn't really have a least favorite part of this one. You could run with that, but clearly it was by design. So fair enough. I think it was a good way to, all right, Eric Embry wants you to hear what he has to say, and he knows he's got at least 2 minutes before these guys finish off Night Train and Mickey J. So here's where he's going to do it. What was your most favorite part of this week's show?
The Lawler promo, the number 2 one. Well, actually, I want to group the the doctor presentation. Even though I kind of critiqued it in the front, I mean, as a kid, either way, the doctor said you got to be off for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So, and then you get him coming out there doing the kind of heartfelt, I'm going to miss you so bad promo. I guess I'll drop by every now and again. Chaos happens. He comes back, fired up. I don't give a shit. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get this son of a bitch in the cage. It's over. And he's proclaiming, this is it. Between me and you, I'm finishing you off, motherfucker. It's over with come Monday night. And it's like I said before, it's this level of Lawler that it feels personal. It feels real to me because of how dastardly the job that Eric Embry is doing at being a piece of shit, and Tom Pritchard too as a team, but him specifically is phenomenal. And it's only making Lawler, like you said, BT, level up and not half-ass where he might before. You never know, but Lawler has to be good to match Embry's energy, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, Embry is so intense that we got to have Lawler stepping up, and I'll go with Embry's promo being one of my favorite parts of the show. I was shocked when he said, "I'm going to kill him." I love the way they're doing it on the side there during a match, even though it did completely kill that match. I like it when it's their match and they come back and forth. I actually like that part. But my favorite part, and this is all me being a big mark for these guys, Steve Kern and Eddie Gilbert out there. Formula, that's the fab. You said the new Fabs. Absolutely loved that. Love the Kern promo in the name of Jackie Fargo. That was my favorite part. I love seeing Kern and Gilbert together. And it's just, my guilty pleasure. It's just me. So
I think that could have been a successful team if they had been able
yeah.
to stick together and go somewhere. But I understand why they didn't. But I got to go back and revise something. My least favorite part of this show was the fact that we didn't get to see this guy.
I don't play.
I thought about it, Gene. I thought about it while I was watching it back. He was so intense last week. They're like, Danny, don't even show up next week if you're going to act like this. You're going to hurt somebody.
Like,
we'll give you a title match Monday night. Just take Saturday off.
We're trying to convince people that Eric Embry is crazy and is going to kill somebody while you almost literally killed somebody in the ring. So just sit this one out, buddy. And he's like, all right, because
I don't play.
Yes, we know, Danny. We know you don't play. No, my favorite part of this show was Eric Embry's execution of that pile driver off the second rope.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
The first week was good, but this one was just like, you'd think he's done it 100 times, man. The way he jumped so far out into the ring, but you could tell he was safe. You could tell Todd Johnson was no chance he got hurt on that. It looked safe, but it looked good. And I don't know. I really enjoyed that. And then our next question is, of course, would you buy a ticket to this week's show?
Absolutely. A parade of champions. I get to see the fired up Uncle Danny probably take a chunk out of Pistolera's ass, like literally, and then take the belt. And all of the drama wrapped up in, Kern and Gilbert versus the Hangman, and then the 2 cage matches. Yeah, it's a buffet Monday night. I want to be there.
Oh, me too. I'll be there just to see the Fabs and see that main event. So and I'm just with that. We talked about it last week, big time. And so with them showing that video, I think that's what they were thinking. Also, part of the commercial to come down to Pipkins. There we go. The Pipkins building, because people might think, oh, this is not the Mid-South Coliseum. When they showed that video and the excitement of the crowd and that shot from the distance of all those people, man, that just made me want to go to that building and go to those shows all the time. I wanted to be part of that crowd.
And you can tell, like, I think the wrestlers were feeling like Lawler, just those punches on Embry, the way the crowd,
oh, it was so good.
Like, they were with them on everything. I think they're really feeling it too. Of course, if my favorite part of this show was seeing Embry pile drive Smith second turnbuckle, I'm definitely, even though I'm a Lawler fan, I definitely would want to go see how it would work if he could somehow manage to pile drive him off the top of the cage. And I feel like if he was able to apply that, Lawler would be taking them a few weeks off, whether he wanted to or not. At that point, it would be kind of come necessary. Maybe I'm wrong, but well, I looked at the website, a couple different websites. I checked the Observer, and then BT was nice enough to send me the USWA portion of that. And so I think all the results are correct this week, BT. But
right on.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see in any of that a attendance. Do you have that?
I do not. They're still saying. He said it a couple of times. 8 to 850 is what they're saying.
Yeah, so I think that's our average. And,
yeah.
And again, 850 looks impressive in that building compared to the bomb scare that it looks like at the Mid-South Coliseum. So opening match saw New Kid Brian Christopher defeat Sergeant O'Reilly. In the second match, Nightmare Danny Davis defeated El Grande Pistolero. Now, Dave said on TV this was a title match, but I don't think it was in retrospect.
I don't think the results said non-title. Yeah.
The way it reads straight. I'll read. This is from one website, and then I'll read you what it said in the Observer. Tag team match: JC Ice and Steve Austin defeated Superstar Bill Dundee and Uptown Bruno. I would bet the farm Bruno got pinned, but I don't know. It could prove me wrong.
Hey, while we're talking about Steve Austin, I wanted to ask you during the show, and I it slipped my mind. But so Steve Austin, while he's here, his finisher has been several different things, right? We saw the splash off the top rope. And what was the other ones? Was he doing the stun gun yet? And if he wasn't, this is right before he goes to WCW, and Eddie Gilbert is doing the hot shot. Do you think that he took that and applied that in WCW if he wasn't already? Clearly Gilbert's doing it right there before he leaves.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of it. Because I splash off the top rope from a guy Steve Austin's size is not a heel finish. I mean, yeah, he's a big guy, but it's not Kamala,
Right.
So I'm sure if he'd have got there and Dusty's like, what's your finish? And he'd be like, splash off the top rope. Like, what else you got? Well, I can do that move Eddie Gilbert does.
Goddamn Eddie Gilbert, son. They're down there in Memphis.
Oh yeah, we'll call that the stun gun. That'd be good. So I don't know. Like I think he was finding himself here and was just trying some different things. And the times he was getting to go over. It's funny, we talked about. I don't know if it's out by now if you're watching this, but me and BT did his show about Flex Kavana in Memphis, and he started by wrestling Lawler and he ended by wrestling Lawler. Spoiler there, but I seen this thing the other day where they asked Lawler, did he? And this I saw it the other day, but this was several years ago. It's not like they're asking present day Jerry Lawler, but they asked him, well, did you have very many matches with Steve Austin when he was in the USWA? And Lawler said, Steve said we wrestled a couple of times. He said, I have no memory of it whatsoever. He said, but Steve said we did have a couple of matches. So it's kind of funny there that, by the time the Rock rolls around, they tell him, hey, this guy's, we got plans for him, and Lawler makes sure to wrestle him quite a bit. But when Steve Austin come through, he was just another dude, and Lawler didn't even remember if he even wrestled him. So, by that time, they weren't even though they were affiliated with WWF, they weren't exactly the developmental for WWF.
Right.
Well, and of course, Austin didn't go on to WWF. He went to WCW and all these other places before, so they didn't have any vested interest in him anyway, apparently. So, so I don't know what I would be willing to bet he saw Eddie Gilbert. He probably even took it from Eddie Gilbert on some spot show somewhere and was like, I could pull that off pretty easy on just about anybody, unless it's PN News or some shit. But anyway, did we say? So we were at Eddie Gilbert and Steve Kern beat the Texas Hangman by disqualification. And of course, the Texas Hangman being Killer and Psycho. Take your pick on who's who. Then in the Southern Heavyweight title steel cage match, Jeff Jarrett beat Tom Pritchard to win back the Southern Heavyweight title. God damn it. Okay, so here's where I do start to have some weird feelings about Embry's booking. The main event, steel cage, unsanctioned, unified world title versus Texas heavyweight title. Again, steel cage match. Jerry Lawler and Eric Embry fought to a double disqualification in the fucking cage match.
What do you have to do to get disqualified in this setting?
Yeah, I don't. This should have been clean Embry, in my opinion. And I know
if he's
that's
going
not
away,
Lawler
that
didn't
should be
want
a
to do
slam
that.
dunk.
Yeah, because that's the rule in wrestling is ever who's staying should be going over. And
But
Embry's
maybe
gonna
some
be-
of that real life shit BT's bleeding through.
That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
dropping
thinking.
my belt to Embry. Even if it's just for a month, I'm not dropping that belt to Embry.
I'm thinking, and this is just purely speculation. I have no idea, and I don't know if you could talk to Lawler or Embry, the one if they'd remember or tell you the truth. But I'm thinking Embry thought, okay, I'll book Lawler into a corner. He's already said he's going away. We put both titles on the line in a cage. He's got to put me over, and then we'll settle it when he gets back. And then they get there Monday night. Lawler's like, well, what do you want to do? Because I'm not losing. And Embry's like, well, you're going away, and I got to be the main event heel. I'm not losing. Well, and they probably had a game of chicken for the entirety of the night of the card. And then finally, when nobody would, buckle, this is what they had to do. But my God, how can you ever sell somebody on ending a feud or any kind of a cage match meaning anything? They've already kind of ruined cage matches for this very reason. This ain't the first time they've done it. But you go to see a definitive winner because it's a cage match, and then you have this stupid double disqualified. Like you're not supposed to be able to get disqualified in a cage, much less both of you get disqualified in the cage. So
right.
I'm not a fan of that. And even if we watch it next week and there's some really clever finish that somehow justifies it, I don't know that I would be back the following week. I'll be interested to see what they throw at us that they think is gonna make us all feel better about giving us that. He goes from I'm going to kill him to a double disqualification. The fuck. So from this,
maybe the police show up and they put him in handcuffs because he is trying to fucking kill Lawler.
He's got
and that's
gun,
why it's a double disqualification because one of them was physically removed by the authorities.
But the one who didn't get removed should have won. So they're still flawed in that logic. But so the Observer says that everything is back to normal in the USWA as far as the champions go. And
read
so
that.
Dave starts telling how convoluted this shit was getting. He put, as of last week, and of course we're jumping ahead past the 8th here, but it's all right. As of last week, Eric Embry was recognized as Texas champion in Tennessee, but Bill Dundee was the champion in Texas. But on April 12th, Embry beat Dundee in Dallas, so now he's the champ in both places. The Southern title was held up in Texas, but Tom Pritchard held it in Tennessee. But on April 8th in Memphis, Jeff Jarrett beat Pritchard to win the title. And on April 12th in Dallas, Jarrett beat Pritchard via disqualification for the held-up title. So now Jarrett holds the title in both places. It says Jerry Lawler is taking 4 weeks off in Memphis to heal nagging injuries, but he's wrestling in Dallas that Friday. April 8th saw Brian Christopher, and in parentheses, he puts Brian Lawler, beat Sean O'Reilly. I don't know if that's his real name or if they just fucked up the sergeant part. It says Danny Davis beat El Grande Pistolero in a non-title match. But Dave Brown, I can play that back to you, where Dave Brown said this is going to be a title match.
Yeah.
So I don't know what.
Because it was a part of the Parade of Champions.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell that's about. I don't know if like Pistolero pulled something before the match where it's like, if this is a title match, I'm not going to wrestle or some, they have their ways of pulling that shit out of their ass on the microphone, I guess. But anyway, Kern and Gilbert, Texas Hangman went to DQ. We know all that. After the match, even though Steve Austin and Jamie Dundee beat Bill Dundee in Uptown Brno, Bill Dundee still spanked JC after the match.
Yeah.
Jarrett beat Pritchard in the cage to win the Southern title, and then all he describes it as is the world title and Texas title cage match went to a non-finish. They put in a cage. So even Dave's taking a shot at that there. Then kind of we go through Louisville. Then we start talking about next week's match.
Match between Pritchard and Jarrett last week? It was stopped because Jarrett was bleeding so much. I thought that was it, but it was the opposite in Louisville. It was because Pritchard was bleeding so much. So
I guess they're taking turns with that.
I guess.
Wait a minute. So here he's got a description here. The April 8th Lawler-Embry cage match ended when Pritchard got a belt and was choking Lawler from outside the cage with it after referee Frank Morrell was knocked down.
I see that now, yeah.
Embry stole Lawler's belt and left with both belts. So how's that a double disqualification? If there must be something to Morrell getting knocked down by both of them, maybe, or something like that. And the further we go into this is more describing next week and beyond, so we won't get into that. We'll circle back to this after some of this actually happens. But there you go. The big cage match ends in a double disqualification, but apparently it stems from Pritchard using a belt on Lawler and Frank Morrell getting knocked down. So I don't know. We'll see what it looks like on actual television when we get a chance to see it. But all in all, this week's TV was fun. I enjoyed it. I was looking forward to going over it here. So I don't know if we'll have a review next week or if in this time slot there may be an interview. I'm having surgery this week. I don't know if I'm going to feel like sitting here with my stomach pressed against this desk talking for an hour and a half about USWA. So we may just, if BT can get his interview done this week, we'll plug that in. If not, I may have an interview with somebody I can plug in or something. And I don't know if I have the surgery Wednesday and I'm feeling great, I may tell you guys, hey, if you want to do it, we'll go ahead and do it. So we'll see, but something will be here on WrestleCopia and on the Retro Wrestling Archive YouTube channel. Speaking of WrestleCopia, I do want to, I hope everybody will wish Ray Russell the best in getting better. He has had some health issues lately. As we record this on Sunday morning, I know he went to the ER yesterday with some issues, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him. So hope everything's good with him. But if, if you're one of the many that listen to this show on WrestleCopia or watch it there, please keep Ray in mind and send him your well wishes if you have the time to do so. I know he'd appreciate it. And I guess it's time to kind of do the recap of things. STSpod.club. What's shaking over there, BT?
Every day we do the Shiznit Minute talking about the current wrestling scene. It's a whole minute. It's on all the feeds. Episode 993 was Rolling into Memphis, number 243. If you've never watched Memphis wrestling, kind of go out of your way to see the main event on this show. Tim Bosby, young guy, got all kinds of potential, big guy, went against Kalisto. Hell of a match. Coming up this week, we start Rocktober. It's the 6th annual Rocktober. And the first week is going to be featuring you guys. Hit me with your first shot with Josh talking about Poison. Open up and say, And as Gene already announced, we did Was It Really That Good with Flex Cavana, whatever they want to call him. Yeah, we had a really good time with both shows. Me and Josh did it late on Saturday, and it's 8:15. That's late for me. And then me and Gene's guy, but we come out on Monday. If you're listening to this as it came out, it's already out. So go out of your way to listen to the music podcast. And then on Thursday, you'll see Gene and I go live about talking about Flex. So you want me to go ahead and talk about P3 Radio?
Yeah, I can actually chime in because I listened to it last night on the way back from Mississippi. So I'll let you do your review, and then I'll chime in here and there.
All right. I got 4 out of 5 hoots, P3 Radio. Remember, this is a podcast that always talks about videos, but never gives you the links or the descriptions. It's episode 428. we started a screen narration watching Porn Expert. What? I'm not sure why I wrote that, but maybe Josh can remind me of that.
Well, it's basically Richard. I guess he's had experience with that of the visually impaired sitting.
Oh yeah, that's
TV.
right. Yeah, visually impaired watching porn and what they were saying, what his words say. He said docking, and if you know what docking is, but docking is worse than banging a guy in the booty.
Well, he says docking. I say docking, and he acts completely oblivious. Acts like he's never heard of the fucking band Docking before.
Yeah, you got to know the difference between docking and docking, DOKKEN. Because if your male friend confuses the two, it's going to be a weird evening.
And is it worse than banging a guy in the booty? That's what I want.
I think it's a little more perverse for sure. I think if you do that, you got come on, just a regular old
So Josh, you're not coming to my house just to dock. You're not going to do that, but
we can explore this topic a little more on Patreon.
Right.
I was about to comment and realize this is
that,
the real show we're doing right now.
My bad. They had a laugh and a fart there for the win. I love that.
Oh, dude, yeah, I made Richard Lee laugh, and he farted and almost sneezed at the same time.
There was Richard was talking about a jerk session he had in the Jackson Forest. He got a 5 p.m. email to return to work, and he's also had a man groping him in the airport because he had a hot crotch. We have decided, me and Josh did, that it's because they put one of them little metal balls in his sack when they did a surgery on him. Dolly Parton is not dead. I just want everyone to know that she is not dead. Josh worries about his good friends, so he goes out, he buys a Ouija board, ever how you want to say it, and as soon as he says that, Richard cracks me up. He don't believe in ghosts or spirits or anything, but damn, he believes in the devil, don't he? He says,
yeah, he's like, so
that's the devil.
So you contacted the devil on how to help me. Whatever, I had to do
your help where you can get it.
Yeah, and then Josh gives him an autographed photo of Ike Turner.
Awesome. Personalized. That's the key. It is to Richard. And a man who's been dead for how many years now?
Since December of 2007. And it literally says, to Richard, stay strong, love Ike Turner. And I swear to God, it is his authentic signature.
I swear to God, he said. I love that. Awesome. Richard went to the world's biggest McDonald's. I was jealous on vacation, and they ate pizza. If you can't get your nose to stop bleeding, you got to use cocaine.
That's what Memo told me.
That's what Memo said.
I thought that worked in reverse, but what do I know?
Richard went to the therapist. He's kind of scared.
Who has a porn star name? She literally has. He didn't say it on air, but he told me her. Right. He told me her shoot name, and it is a shoot porn star's name. I'll tell y'all.
The wife has a shoot porn star name too. We'll have to do that on the Patreon. He went to the therapist. He's kind of scared because he don't want to remember that the neighbor touched him across the street. But let me tell y'all guys, I remember. The neighbor touched me. So I just want y'all to know that.
You use that quite frequently in your spare time, right? You still think back to that.
I do. I'm scarred.
Patreon.
Tell Richard if he's not going to take all those Xanax, hook me up. Cheese, but not cheese. I wrote down, I love grapefruit juice. I have experienced some of that cheese. It's not cheese. It's pretty bad. Conway Twitty was a commie. And
it's Conway Twitty in that.
Yeah, Conway Twitty.
I should have thought of that. Fuck.
I was in my car last night going, Josh, you're missing it. Josh, come on, Conway Twitty, you gotta have it.
Fuck.
Boy was struck by lightning, and he was pretty lucky. The Baldwin brothers can't drive. We talked about a South American story, but ended up being in New York, and Richard got mad because Josh has never seen Princess Bride. So yeah, I want you to know that. The last story was a stalking, which was about a firefighter ex-girlfriend threw 75 used tampons in the yard, but they used red paint. Josh said that if he was in charge of it, they would have used John Deere Green. So there you go. That was P3 Radio for this week.
Well, there's not much left for me to interject because BT literally covers every goddamn word they say on there. So, but no, I have to put over that gift, the personalized signed photo of Ike Turner from Beyond the Grave.
With a
it's hard to
specific,
top.
Situationally applicable mess. Is that a word? Applicable? Well, it is. If
it is now.
Applicable, I think is how some weird people say it.
Yeah, it made it fit right in there, and I couldn't believe it.
And BT didn't mention this, but Richard did announce at the beginning of the show that he's not crazy anymore. So there's that.
He's totally normal now to his liking. So,
there was a dude in high school that in junior high jumped off the top of the gym. He climbed up there and waited till everybody come out for lunch break, and then he jumped off the top of the gym. And people asked him why he did it, and he said, "Well, I was crazy." And so in high school, for the entire 4 years of high school, every time I passed Philip in the hall, I'd say, "Hey, you still crazy?" And he'll say, "No, I haven't been crazy since junior high." And we did it literally every day. But I checked on him every day, and turns out he wasn't crazy anymore. But then apparently at some point the craziness returned because he ended up in prison. But I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it. So that's what it made me think of when Richard announced at some point early in the show, goes, "I'm not crazy anymore." I was like, "Hey, good for you. Don't go jumping off any buildings."
What did the guy? I have to know. Do you know what his charge was? Was it craziness or?
It was related to armed robbery.
That motherfucker is a goddamn.
But I don't know if he was the getaway driver or if he was the guy who was doing the actual robbery. Because as we all know, if you're the getaway driver, you're just as guilty as the other, so they say. But I don't really think you can call that crazy though, because if you plan all that out, it wasn't like temporary insanity, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Let's
maybe he's not crazy.
Josh, let's make sure Richard never quits taking his meds when he thinks he's fixed, because that was the mistake that he made. So
if his friends wouldn't ask him for some of them, he's less likely to run out.
Yeah, that was a nerve pill. Come on, Xanax.
That wasn't a shot. That wasn't a shot at you. You're not his friend. So.
That guy Gene.
I'm not his friend either. It's his best friend, Josh, and those two guys he does podcasts with on occasion.
That's right. There you go.
No, I'm glad. I was glad as soon as that episode started, you could hear the old Richard, the happy Richard that I haven't heard in quite some time.
I agree.
And you really didn't realize it in the moment as much as till when you hear him on this week's P3 Radio, then you go back and think, man, he hasn't sounded like this in a while, but it didn't really hit you in the moment. But when you hear the difference, like, oh, okay, well, good for him. I'm glad he's, back feeling good, because it's tough, man. It's tough to get out of that funk, and he's just had a lot going on. So kudos to Richard. I'm glad he's back, and y'all were in rare form this week. The Russian Conway Twitty stuff cracked me up. And I assumed at first too that it was AI. It's like, it's got to be fucking AI. AI music's getting better though, dude. I found a soul version of Stone Temple Pilots' "Interstate Love Song." I've listened to all week long. I love that. I was like, dude, this is better than the original. Like, keep it up. All right, folks. Make sure you check out USWApodcast.com to find everything related to this show, including our merch store, where you can get the sweet Texas Bunch, Texas Invasion 91 t-shirt. We've sold a couple of so far, so that's pretty cool. Check out DougGilbertPodcast.com for everything related to Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich. That will be returning in the next couple of weeks or so. Check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Retro Wrestling Archive. New stuff going up there literally every single day. Old Terror Story stuff, old stuff from Japan, you name it. We've got.
I got to interrupt you, Gene. Are you sitting on any more FMW and IWA stuff, or is that all you got? Okay, no, I just making sure that wasn't it.
There's a lot more coming
because you've slowly started releasing them in the last couple of days. I'm like, fucking yeah! But I
didn't really know if the crowd at that channel would really be game for that, so I just threw a couple out there to see what would happen, and the views like shot up, and people were messaging me like, "We need more of this." I'm like, "All you can handle, brother. I got a whole drive full of that stuff." So there you go.
I just you may find trouble though if you put like any of that Tenru war shit on there.
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple that I immediately had to take back down because it got the old global shut down.
I mean, it was good for a while on one channel, and the whole goddamn channel got deleted. So I think they actively try to get that shit off there, but for whatever reason, it seems like IWA and FMW not so much.
But that's why it's been I stay away from anything even remotely linked to New Japan, or so you can get away with some All Japan, but nothing New Japan. That's what got my last channel. My original channel got took down because of fucking New Japan. That's why I didn't put anything from Japan for a long time. I put a couple of these out, and the first two, one of them was blocked globally for something. I just took it down. Then I tried another, and then another, and then another, and they've been, knock on wood, been pretty good so far. God knows, I hope I don't get this channel taken down with as many videos and subscribers as I got up there. I'll just probably have to throw my hands up and give up.
Just might have to cry on that one. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of drives, you can go to patreon.com/retro wrestling archive. You can join the Patreon. You can join the $5 level and be able to see the hot mics that we do after this show every week. Watch alongs, a lot of cool stuff. But if you want to get the level where you get access to the Google Drive that has all the Memphis stuff I can find on there, plus more, that's like $8. So we got a lot of people that's joined. A lot of people liked it. We got all kinds of weird stuff on the drive and adding stuff every day. So check it out. And also don't forget to check out my friends over at EPWWrestlingMS.com. Check out, they got the first of their 2 Halloween episodes dropped this week. So that was a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. And guys, do you have anything else before we wrap this one up?
I think I'm good, Gene.
I just want to thank everyone. We had a really good weekend on the audio plays, and it looks like we're getting more new people. You know, you get 20 or 30 people listening to everything in the archives. I do appreciate it.
Damn, Smokey, what are you doing?
And that's what I was wondering. And then, as everyone knows, I love my mama. Get Buck.
Man, get Buck if you want to.
Yeah, or you don't have to, but if you want, it's an option. Yeah, good. The numbers are all going up. I added a Substack. That thing's been around for a while. I've seen a lot of people using it. I finally joined that to put up these articles I've been writing, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback on those. So I appreciate everybody that's read those and messaged me or commented or liked them. So a lot more in the works. I got a lot of different things I want to write about that doesn't necessarily warrant a book or a whole podcast or anything. And so I'll be putting those up. And then the ones that are more popular and people seem to like, maybe we will make a podcast out of it at some point. But episode, not a whole damn series. So we got enough of those out there right now. So, all right, folks, that's it for another episode of the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Like I said, there will be a show next week. I just don't know what the hell it's going to be. But whatever it is, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. You'll like it, I promise. And if you don't, blame BT.
That's it. It's my fault.